To survive, the man cut a bullet in half and poured out the gunpowder inside. He then gathered some dry branches from nearby and spread them over the gunpowder. To ignite the pile of branches, he placed another bullet on top of the gunpowder and struck the bottom of the bullet with his knife. But 10 minutes passed, and the gunpowder still wouldn't catch fire. If this continued, he would surely freeze to death. To concentrate the force more directly on the bullet, he positioned the knife against the bullet's base and struck the knife handle with a stone. This quickly did the trick. The branches instantly ignited from the gunpowder, and Jimmy finally got some warmth. But the crisis wasn't over yet. Half an hour earlier, one of his arms had been hit by enemy fire. If he didn't remove the bullet soon, he would die just the same. Jimmy gritted his teeth through the pain and disinfected the wound with liquor. What followed would be the most excruciating minute of his life. After hesitating for a moment, he finally mustered the courage to insert the knife tip into his wound. After digging around for a while, he managed to extract the bullet. Since he had no gauze to bandage the wound, he heated his dagger in the fire until it reached 500 degrees, then pressed it against the wound. This would make the wound scab over quickly and prevent infection. However, the smell of burning flesh was detected by the enemies pursuing him. Jimmy could almost hear the sound of their horses' hooves getting closer and closer. So he didn't dare rest for a moment. He deliberately left footprints in one direction while heading in another, then used branches to sweep away the tracks in his actual direction. Since Jimmy was extremely weak at this point and had no strength left to keep running, he could only hide in a nearby tree. Unfortunately, the enemies weren't fooled. The enemy leader was very cautious and saw right through Jimmy's trick. He and his men split up in different directions to capture Jimmy. Soon, one of the enemies came to the base of the tree where Jimmy was hiding. The man even discovered the marks Jimmy had left while climbing the tree. Worse yet, blood from his wound had accidentally dripped onto the ground. The man was certain that Jimmy must be hiding up in the tree. Jimmy didn't want to just sit there waiting to die. He quickly drew his dagger and aimed at the man on the ground. The moment the man looked up, Jimmy let go. Just like that, the man was struck by the dagger and stopped breathing. At that moment, Jimmy also slipped and fell from the tree. Fortunately, the man's body cushioned his fall, so he wasn't injured again. But Jimmy still couldn't let his guard down, because the sound of his fall had already been heard by the enemy leader. The man quickly rallied all his companions, and they were now heading toward Jimmy together.